Howdy everybody. I pray this video finds you blessed. So this week I have a piece of Kamani. It's a wood that came from Hawaii. A dear friend of mine, Marlene, came all the way out to visit me and brought me a few wonderful pieces, and hopefully I'll be able to share all the turnings with you from those pieces. Most of them are from Hawaii, which is excellent because I've never turned any of this wood before that she brought me, and all of it is so very beautiful. I'd like to apologize for some of the lack of talking I might do because I'm not feeling so well today, so thank you for your patience and your grace. I think this piece of wood was not 100% all the way dry. There was a date on the back side, and I'm not sure if I was reading it properly, but it seemed like this wood was processed sometime last year. For the size of the chunk, I don't think it was 100% dry. I didn't even think to meter it before I started. The reason why I say that is because when I was finished with it, it did move a little bit. So that's what makes me believe. It didn't feel wet when I turned it. I didn't feel any crazy amount of moisture, but also the humidity here has been extremely high. So I'm sure by it just sitting on the counter has been, if it was dry, it isn't now kind of thing. So I'm also terribly sorry if my microphone is picking up the growling of my stomach. I cannot tell if it is or not because every time I play it back, my stomach starts growling. I'm not hungry. It's just I don't feel well, so my stomach is arguing with whatever it is that I ate for lunch. Anyways, sorry about that. I truly apologize. It's probably very annoying. It's annoying to me. So back to my ball. I really loved the bark on this wood. It is a very sappy wood, and I didn't realize that until a few days after the piece was turned. I couldn't tell right away, looking back at how many times my gouge kept getting clogged up with the wooden bark. Now I realize why. Even though I wasn't feeling the sticky right then, it was a sappy bark, sappy wood. So just warn you about that as far as how to proceed. I didn't pay much attention to that and didn't realize that until after I finished the piece. And of course, I chose to keep the bark on because if you've ever turned bottle brush before, there's layers within the bark that really show some cool patterns and colors in itself. And then of course, with bottle brush, it has like a very nice pink, rosy looking core. And so, you just got all these layers of really cool stuff going on. And this piece was no different than that. The coloring was beautiful in it. The bark, it looked like a flower being flattened out on the sides. And I loved having a little bit of that green moss, and, it had a lot of character going on, and I wanted to try to save it as I possibly could. So I just doused a lot of it with CA glue as I went. The corners were kind of lifting where the bark met the sapwood. It was kind of lifting a little bit. And so, the CA glue did help. I did have to go back after this piece was completed, get the sap off of the bark I just used that Gouge gun. It's an orange gum release stuff. and then I went back and CA glued some of the areas where it lifted from the piece moving because it wasn't completely dry, and then just threw it on the lathe and repolished it. I didn't record all of the fixes to it, which now that I look back I regret, because there are several pieces that sometimes we find ourselves having to go back and fix, or unexpected things, or turning new woods for the first time. You're unsure what to expect with some of the new things that we turn, some of the new woods, and this was no exception. It definitely had its own characteristics that I had no idea, and this is my only piece that I have of this wood, so just doing my best to figure it out as I go and make something beautiful with it in the meantime, and it did turn out beautiful, and I'm very thankful for being able to turn this wood. It's pretty, but as you can see here, it's starting to lift. Even after putting a ton of glue in there, it just kept guzzling it, so I'm sure that was probably about to just come right off, and I didn't want to lose it. So we pour a lot of product on there to save our pieces. Partly why this is a kind of short video is because, of course, you get caught up in turning things and turning pieces, and I know other YouTubers do it. You get distracted and you forget to push that record button, and it happens to me more often than not. Sometimes I can catch it sooner and get at least bits and pieces of me hollowing out something. But for this piece, I went ahead and used my Easy Wood Tools. It's a gooseneck hollower. I think it's a CIO3. I'm not exactly sure of the numbering system for all of their tools, and I'm not sure if that's the proper numbering system, but it is a gooseneck hollower, and that's what I used to get up underneath the rim. I wanted to be able to showcase the grain and coloring of the wood a little bit more in the rim as well, so when your eye led down into the bowl, there was more of that beautiful chatoyance and wood, and that's kind of what helped me determine the style of this bowl, is just because of what the wood had to offer. So it was really nice to be able to kind of just style it according to what really showed the grain and stuff in the wood the most, and that's why I chose this shape. While I'm in the finished portion of this piece, I want to share with you some struggles that I had trying to get streaks out of my OB Shine Juice and my Frenchies polish. My normal process would be sanding sealer, then using the abrasive paste, then a wax product, whether that is a restoring polish, restoring paste, or whatever the name of it may be. If it has beeswax or any kind of wax in it, that will interfere with your OB Shine Juice and your Frenchies. That shellac and that denatured alcohol in your mix for your OB Shine Juice is trying to re-emulsify, and it is the heat, the friction that you have to get with the OB Shine Juice and the Frenchies that heats back up that beeswax that's in the wax product, and it causes a buildup in streaks because it's like mixing oil and water together. They're not wanting to emulsify with one another. So if you're having struggles with streaks, eliminate using a paste wax or a wax finish and then trying to put the OB on top of it. It will almost always give you a hard time. At least with my experience and experience of several viewers who have been experiencing the same thing I had, I did in a process of elimination. So I started to take away each step and just doing OB or Frenchies on top of each step that I eliminated. So my new process now for most pieces will be sanding to 400, 600, whatever the piece is I'm sanding. I'll do my sanding sealer, which is the shellac and denatured alcohol mix. I use that because it dries faster. If you have a preferred sanding sealer, go for it. Use that. And then I will use my abrasive paste. And make sure when you use your abrasive paste, you are removing all of the leftovers from the abrasive paste. Then you go back and then you will go and use the OB Shine Juice or Frenchies. If you get streaks still, it could be because there's still a wax buildup. There's some amount of wax left from the abrasive paste, because there is a small amount of wax and oil in the abrasive paste that could be left behind. So just try to get that off the best you can, and then move forwards with the OB and Frenchies, and you'll get a great shine. And once I started doing that, I eliminated all of my issues with the streaks. It could be just how I was doing it, but I did have several viewers that were contacting me about the same issue, and once they eliminated that paste wax, so that wax product before Frenchies, they eliminated the streaks. So I hope that that tip helps you out, and I hope that it will improve your finishes, because it majorly improved mine. And I thank you so much, everybody, for watching my videos. I pray that you guys have a wonderful weekend, and take care, and God bless.